Ever heard of a store where you see people lining up, pushing these enormous carts, ready to buy, well, almost anything
But
imaginable?
yeah, it's this massive retail phenomenon, really. Global reach, millions and millions of members.
Huge following. And inside, it's this giant warehouse space. You've got your bulk groceries, sure, but then also electronics, clothes.
Even surprising stuff sometimes pops up. You never know quite what you'll find next to the giant pack of toilet paper.
Exactly. You might go in for coffee beans and walk out thinking about a new TV. Now, for you listening, perhaps if you're outside the U.S. or Canada, this whole setup might seem a bit unusual.
Different from the typical supermarket experience.
Right. So our deep dive today is all about unpacking how this model actually works, why it's been so incredibly successful, and how it's even taking off in other parts of the world.
Okay, so let's get into the history a bit. The Costco we know today wasn't always just Costco. It actually came from a merger.
Right, back in '93.
Yeah, exactly. Two companies with pretty similar ideas, Price Club and the original Costco. Price Club was actually first on the scene.
Started by Saul Price, wasn't it? Way back in '76.
That's the one. He really pioneered this whole warehouse club concept. Even before Price Club, he had FedMart.
And the story goes that Sam Walton, Walmart founder,
Yeah,
he actually got some inspiration from visiting Price's stores.
absolutely. And there's a direct link to Jim Sinegal, one of the Costco co-founders in '83.
Okay.
He worked closely with Saul Price at FedMart and Price Club, so that knowledge got passed along.
Wow. Okay, so that merger in '93 really set the stage for, well, massive growth.
Definitely. They eventually became just Costco in '97, and things really took off.
So what's the secret sauce then? What makes this whole thing tick? It's not just about selling stuff cheap, is it?
Well, low prices are a huge part of it, but the real engine, the primary profit driver, it's the membership fees.
Ah, right. The fact that you pay for the privilege of shopping there.
Exactly. Unlike traditional retailers who make most of their money marking up the price of goods, Costco operates on really thin margins on the products themselves.
So the profit comes from people signing up and renewing each year.
Precisely. A huge chunk of their net income is from those fees, which means their entire focus shifts.
To keeping members happy.
Yes. Everything is geared towards making that membership feel worthwhile so people renew. It's about member satisfaction, first and foremost.
That makes sense. And they seem to treat their employees well, too, which probably helps the shopping experience.
That's a big part of their philosophy, yeah. Happy employees generally lead to happier customers, which reinforces the value of the membership.
Okay, so besides the low prices, how do they create that value and keep people loyal? You mentioned finding unexpected things.
Yeah, that's key. They call it the treasure hunt. See, they don't stock nearly as many different items, goodies, stock-keeping units as a typical supermarket.
How many are we talking?
Maybe around 4,000 items compared to like 30,000 or 40,000 or even more elsewhere.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
It is, and the selection rotates. So if you see something interesting, maybe a seasonal item or a special deal.
You feel like you need to grab it now, or it might be gone next time.
Exactly. It encourages impulse buys and makes shopping feel kind of exciting. You never know what gem you might uncover. It's that variable reward thing keeps you coming back.
Clever. And there are other perks too, right? It's not just the products.
Oh, absolutely. The free samples are legendary, aren't they? A great way to try things.
Always popular.
Then you've got things like technical support if you buy electronics there, concierge service.
Okay.
They have optical centers, hearing aids, travel booking services, even programs to help you buy a car, gasoline stations with good prices.
Right, the gas is a big draw.
And the food court, that famous $1.50 hot dog and soda combo, it hasn't changed price in decades.
Incredible. It all adds up to make the membership feel like a really good deal.
It's a whole ecosystem, really. And then there's their own brand, Kirkland Signature.
Ah, yes, Kirkland.
Bruh.
You see that name on so many products in there.
It's huge for them, accounts for a massive portion of their sales. And the story behind it is interesting, too. Well, back when they created it, most retailers had lots of different private labels for different product categories. Costco made a bold move to consolidate everything under one name, Kirkland.
Named after their headquarters location at the time, right?
Yeah. And the key thing about Kirkland is it's not just positioned as the cheap option.
No, people seem to really trust the quality. I've heard folks say they prefer Kirkland paper towels, for instance.
Exactly. They aim for quality often equal to or even better than national brands. because shelf space is so limited in Costco.
Putting a Kirkland product there is like a stamp of approval.
Precisely. It signals they believe in that product's quality and value. It builds tremendous loyalty, and that limited shelf space gives them huge negotiating power with suppliers.
Because brands really want to be on those shelves.
Right. So Kirkland can demand high quality and good prices. Sometimes they even push suppliers to improve, or they switch if someone else offers better value. There was a famous example with diapers years ago.
Okay, so this model is clearly a powerhouse in North America. But how does it translate internationally? You mentioned global reach.
It translates surprisingly well. Often, their international operations are even more profitable than the North American ones.
Really? Even in places where maybe bulk buying isn't as common.
Yeah, take Japan, for example. Smaller homes, smaller families, typically. You'd think a bulk warehouse wouldn't fit. But Costco has been incredibly successful there.
Why is that?
Sources suggest it's the appeal of shocking value and quality. It just resonates. They even have a popular Costco magazine in Japan focused on the lifestyle.
Fascinating. And I read about the opening in Shanghai, China. That was apparently chaotic.
Totally overwhelming. They had to limit how many people could even enter the store on opening day because the crowds were so massive.
Wow. So despite local competition and different shopping habits, the core appeal seems pretty universal.
It really does. It boils down to a few key things. Delivering that strong value, making the shopping experience a bit of an adventure.
That treasure hunt feel.
Right, and building trust through things like the Kirkland brand. These elements seem to work across many different cultures.
So wrapping this up, while paying a fee just to get in the door might seem unusual if you're not used to it. Costco's success, both at home and increasingly abroad, shows there's something fundamental about this combination of value, quality, and maybe that sense of discovery.